Okay, what is going on? There are seriously like 100 amazing tabletop role-playing game crowdfunding projects all happening at once. My wallet is hurting, but I am so stoked that all these rad games are being made. Let's talk about some of them, and I'm sure you'll find at least one, probably 4 or 5 that you'll want to back. Jumping straight into it, first up is Flail by Andre Novoa and Games Omnivorous, one of my favorite publishers. I've been excited about this one for a while, to the point where I got Andre to send me an early production copy of the box set. If you're a fan of Mouse Ritter and old school fantasy, this one is for you. It borrows the Mouse Ritter inventory system and mixes it with a classic fantasy setting. It's fast and easy to run. It has some really fun character options. Like, each class covers the old school fantasy trope, but adds some cool new mechanics. Like, the thief or the cutthroat is a member of a guild, and they have guild tokens that they can use on like special abilities depending on which guild they're in. So like the Crimson Cloak Society, they could maybe poison someone or use a backstab ability, while the Shadow Arcanum gets a familiar or a necrotic blade, all kinds of wild stuff. While this is an OSR game with all the ability scores and rolling a d20 under to see if you succeed at something, combat is a little bit different. Super fast. Each player rolls attacks with d6 dice pools depending on their weapon or spell, and if you get a 1, it hits and the weapon does its damage. If you get multiple ones, it's a crit, does double damage. Really fast, no math, just the way I like it. There's also this like poker system, or like, I guess it's maybe like Yahtzee. It's called poker in the game, but it's kind of like Yahtzee. You're trying to make certain combos on the dice to like do extra effects on spells and certain attacks and like legendary items and stuff. Really cool. There's a reputation system that goes up and down with different rewards depending on how famous or infamous you are. The book has a bunch of GM resources, including ways to create hex crawl campaigns with examples. Games Omnivorous made these awesome hex kits, which is actually part of this campaign as well. I'm springing for the box set and the hex kit so I can build out a whole campaign. It's got a fantastic bestiary. Check out these dragons. And of course, there's a bunch of items, including item sets like Diablo, where the more items of the set that you get, the cooler bonuses you unlock, and like more abilities and cool stuff. I should say that this is a production copy. So Andre mentioned that the paper isn't dialed in yet, and these aren't final components. But if all the other stuff that Games Omnivorous has put out is any indication, the quality of the box set is going to be awesome. And this box has so much cool stuff in it. Everything you need to play, like class books, tons of these item tokens that, you know, you keep track of your inventory, not by writing down that you got a sword or some armor or a shield or whatever, but you just put the token on your character sheet. So cool. There's the actual character sheets, and my favorite, these Mouse Ritter style pamphlet adventures. I'm just all about these one-page, you know, front and back adventures that are so easy and quick to run to get on the table. Flail is totally my kind of game, and I have a feeling this is going to become my go-to classic old school style fantasy game. Oh yeah, I'm going to have all of these projects that I'm talking about linked in the description, so definitely go check them out for yourself. Next, we have another friend, Brian Shutter, creator of Neon Lords of the Toxic Wasteland, just launched Neon Bastards on Kickstarter. This is an insane apocalyptic mutant RPG where you play as a scum dog. You can be like a brutal corn or a heather or a war wizard, bunch of other crazy classes. Neon Bastards is a hack of Morkborg, so super easy to run. Instead of omens, you get class points, which you can use to auto crit reroll, kind of the typical Morkborg stuff, but you can also use it to respawn when you die. When you crit, you roll on the to the max table. You might get like Gutsplosion or slow-mo kill cam, where all the enemies just stand around and watch you be awesome. Of course, you also have to roll on the total bummer table. If you roll a 1, you can Butterfingers your weapon, or you might accidentally butt dial your mom and lose a turn in combat. As you can tell by the layout of this preview, this game is totally insane in the best way. Besides the Scumdog manual, which is all the player-facing stuff, there will be the manual of Doom that has all the GM stuff like adventure generators, enemies, or should I say creeps. There's loot and chaos tables, and then there's also going to be an entire adventure called Fast Times on Sludge Mountain. You can get a battle binder, which is like an old school trapper keeper to keep the entire game in, and there's going to be pogs. Actually, I'm one of the stretch goals. Help us get this stretch goal so I can illustrate some Neon Bastardz pogs. I can't wait to get this one on the table and see what kind of craziness unfolds. I know my players are going to love Neon Bastardz. Okay, next up, I want to talk about another Morkborg hack, but an extremely different kind of Morkborg hack. This one is Fomoria by Tanya Herrero, with layout by the co-creator of Morkborg, Johan Nohr. Fomoria is a folk horror RPG where you play as like a goat or bat or snake or platypus folk. There are different classes and traditions, and you're part of a clan that like protects this shrine. I'd say this is just as much a campaign setting and lore book as it is a game. The artwork is absolutely incredible and does so much work conveying the tone and character and place. You know, it's dangerous and dark, but there's also a whimsy to it. And the writing is the same, maybe a little more wordy than the typical OSR stuff, but it's filled with so much flavor. I just can't get enough. For what it's worth, I signed up for Tanya's Patreon because of the art, but I stayed because of the writing and the world building. So I'm in for whatever they make, but especially psyched for this Fomoria project. Like I said, mechanically it's Morkborg, so player-facing rolls, d20s to attack and avoid damage. It adds the occult stat for wielding these special boon abilities. Also, light is very important in the world, and if the darkness creeps in, you threaten to like break down. This spawn of the Hungering One is the intro adventure, and man, it just looks so good. I imagine this is like the kind of Morkborg starter adventure that's in the back of the book. So people are missing, you got to go down into this hole, and there's this big nasty spider and a bone marrow witch, and it introduces the players to the Red Plague, and then the boss is so crazy. Again, the maps and the illustrations are just so awesome. And the adventure has this great page spread that lays out all the consequences for whatever happens, so you can keep the story going after this intro to Fomoria. I'm just so impressed with what I've seen so far, and I can't wait to get my hands on what is sure to be an incredible book. Next, I want to talk about Realis, another game that is filled with some amazing artwork and just as much a setting as a game. Players are going to explore this science fantasy world with 1,000 moons and the corpse sun and the great void. In Realis, there are 55 classes. Stuff like the Berserker, the Esoteric, the Quintessent, the Newshound, the Heritor, and the Kid. Now, 55 classes sounds like a lot, but each class is really just 4 sentences plus a bond sentence plus a dream sentence. And what do I mean by sentences? Well, Realis is a story game. There are no dice or stats, just these sentences, like literal sentences. And the more specific a sentence you have that makes your character, the more powerful it is. So you can kind of almost think of a sentence like a skill. Like a sentence that my duelist character might have is, I always win in a one-on-one fight. So if a fight starts and it's just me and one opponent, I get to describe how I win based on this sentence that is true. Of course, there are other sentences that get brought up, like the NPCs have their own sentences, and even locations are described with specific sentences. So playing means a group has to work through and determine what is real and what is true. The whole concept sounds cool and not like any game I've ever played. I'm just so intrigued by the whole thing as a setting and as a game. And I think Tyler Crumrine, the publisher at Possible Worlds, puts out some of the most interesting games. So this has an instant back for me. Another instant back for me is Overworld by Bloat Games. I am a huge fan of the retro video game inspired monster manuals that they've put out in zine form over the years. And now Eric and Josh have created an entire game to go along with it. So think what would happen if Dracula's castle landed in the Mushroom Kingdom while Dr. Wily's robot masters were being hunted by Samus. Awesome, right? You've got classes like the plumber and the princess, the elven hero, the speedster, the robo kid, and the system is based on their Survive This game, which is a great Roll20 system with some cool survival mechanics, super easy to pick up, hit points, saving throws, armor class, advantage, disadvantage. You basically already know how to play it, and I can't wait to see all the goodies in these 2 books. They've expanded it into 200 plus page books. There's the core rules and a whole other world book with an entire video game inspired setting and monsters, magic items, random tables. Yes, please, right? Give me more. Now, hopefully you're seeing this video right away because the Overworld campaign is about to end very soon. Go check it out, back it. Get this awesome game. Another game that has been expanded from zine form. I'm mad that I don't have the zine to show you. It's lost somewhere in the depths of my zine shelf. Is Pine Shallows. This is a game I cannot believe I haven't gotten to the table yet. It's basically the Goonies or Gravity Falls, the RPG, with one of my favorite resolution mechanics. You're rolling 2d6 and you either fail or get the mix success or, a regular success. There are only 3 stats and players choose a class like Home Alone, Whiz Kid, or Bookworm. They also get plot points, which let them re-roll and give them control over the narrative a little bit by calling on a connection to come help them solve the mystery. I'm also stoked that there aren't just one, but several starting adventures in the expanded book version. So I think Pine Shallows will actually land on my table sometime very, very soon. Another spooky game on my list is Breathless. Much different kind of spooky, but just the other day, my Blue Sky feed exploded with a bunch of people saying all kinds of good things about how awesome this game is. I feel like somehow I've been missing out on some awesome game that I just didn't know about. So Breathless is a survival horror zombie apocalypse game where you're slowly being dragged down the longer you play. So each time you use a skill to resolve a conflict, the dice gets reduced from, like it might start as a D10 and then go to a D8, D6, etc. To succeed, you need to roll a 3 or a 4, but that also comes with consequences. So to really succeed, you need a 5 or higher. And this is the kind of mechanic stuff that I love, where it's just super simple, but makes perfect sense for this type of game. Another thing I love is that it's all pamphlet style, similar to the Cyberpunk game that MythWorks published. So instead of just getting one book, each player is going to get their own pamphlet, and then all of the scenarios and stuff that you run are all from just a single sheet of folded paper, but it's still got that awesome production value with a cool folding case and everything. I love it. I'm not sure how I missed Breathless before, but I'm glad I discovered it now and I'm getting in on this expanded treatment. Okay, I can't believe it, but there's even more. Ion Heart was a solo mech game that is getting a multiplayer book that looks so rad. This is just a quick start zine that I'm showing off here. The book and all of the components and the minis look like they're going to be killer. Love the artwork. Love the concept and the vibe. If you want to go on a giant mech heartfelt adventure, this seems to be the game. Pirate Borg Winds of Hell is a 6-part campaign setting for Pirate Borg that sounds so rad. There's vampires and demons and inquisitors and the underworld. The art looks cool. The maps are really, really nice. Just looks like a solid third party, not just adventure, but an entire campaign. Magic of inventorying looks so charming. It's a GM-less RPG that starts after the adventurers have explored the dungeon. It's got art by Bodhi H, so I'm in on this one. Just looks like the perfect pick up and play quick 2-hour RPG experience. It's also Orbital Blues month and Mega Dungeon month on BackerKit. So literally dozens of other awesome projects happening over there. I've backed a bunch of them too. It's Somebody's got to stop me. Somebody's got to stop me. Is your head spinning like mine? Did I forget any cool projects? Let me know down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya!